I want to first talk about defense, okay? Let's talk a little bit about, I do worry, I think Richard Sherman's had a very good year. I was wrong on that. I thought it felt like Seattle was sort of the end of it. What did he tear? Achilles. And I thought, it's the worst position you could play. It's corner. But I'm wrong. He negotiated his own deal. He had a hell of a year. He's a great verbal, high IQ leader. Let's talk defense.
Let's go.
As somebody that was in the league for 11 years, how much easier is it to be in the secondary when you have a defensive front like San Francisco's?
Oh, it's a lot easier. I mean, you got to think about it. The year that I had 10 picks, 2007, I had Sean Merriman, Sean Phillips, Luis Castillo, Igor Oshansky, Jamal Williams. I had all those guys.
Oh, my God.
So you got to think, when you got a pass rush and you can sit back in your zone coverage, it's easy. That's easy money. Because it's a timing. You know the rush is going to get there. The only thing I do is just sit back, wait for the ball, know the routes are not going to be more than deeper than 12 yards because the quarterback trying to get the ball out quick.
Yeah, so as a defensive back, it's mostly short underneath routes. That's what you got to throw.
Definitely.
When you look at San Francisco offensively, listen, if you don't have to throw, don't. It reminds me of Mike Shanahan's offenses. They didn't ask Jimmy Garoppolo to throw much. Do you have a problem with kind of the restrictive, conservative 49er offensive game plan?
No. I mean, it worked for the Titans for 2 playoff games. And, on throw the ball, I think, 20 sometimes. So, I mean, it's just the point of when something's going well and they can't stop it, why go to the other well? I'm going to keep going back to that same well over and over and over. I mean, they almost ran for almost 300-some yards in that game. They had 160. I mean, the running back had 160 yards in the first half. And I'm not going to stop running the ball.
You know what I noticed yesterday? Most DBs, you were a physical DB. Mm-hmm. Derwin James, Chargers, physical. Richard Sherman can be very physical.
Yes.
Deion Sanders was great. He didn't want any part of tackling. Green Bay's secondary, Savage is a hitter. The other guys, little more finesse. I noticed early in this game, San Francisco started running downhill. You could sense this is a power team. We're going to go right at you. Mm-hmm. And I think it sort of changed the way Green Bay played. I said this earlier. You can always tell who's the bully in the octagon.
Yes.
Because when you're the second toughest guy in the octagon gets really small. And I feel like Green Bay is just a finesse team, and they were exposed against the toughest team in the NFC.
Well, I feel like I think they got more exposed to they can't stop a zone. They can't stop zone running game.
They can't.
The outside zone, they can't do that.
Why? Do they not have the personnel?
I don't know. They couldn't get off blocks. If you watch the game, they did not get off blocks at all. Everyone was attached to a block, couldn't get off a block, couldn't make a tackle. I mean, when you look at it, what's the kid name? Monster?
Yeah, for San Francisco.
He on a 30-yard touchdown, he never got touched. No one touched him on a 30-yard touchdown.
That's hard to do.
He put his foot in the dirt on his zone read, and nobody touched him for 30 yards. That's unheard of. How do you not get touched?
Well, to your point, the zone running game, Mike Shanahan hands it to Kyle. If you can't get off blocks, by the way, that's what scouts look for. Can you get off blocks? Kenny Clark can, by the way. Kenny Clark's an unbelievable player for Green Bay. Yes. Most of the Packers' defensive players could not, and the very physical 49ers took advantage of it. Before I get to Kansas City, listen, Aaron's great, Hall of Famer, I get it. But here's my thing about him. He's a bailer. He can bail on coaches. He can bail on plays. He can bail on players. He can be a little condescending with people. He rubs some people the wrong way. Mm-hmm. Of the 12 teams in the playoffs, Green Bay, only Buffalo had more 3-and-outs. When I look at Green Bay, it feels like an all-or-nothing offense. Aaron will burn you, but they don't. There's a lot of quick drives with them.
Yes.
That's what it feels like. What does it feel like to you?
Well, when you watch Green Bay play, everything is built off big plays also. So they don't have a big play in that drive. They can't go down the field and just actually drive down the field. It's a dink and dunk team. And when you look at that game yesterday, the front four of San Fran didn't give him time to sit back in the pocket. Even when he tried to get out of the pocket, he couldn't get out the pocket. Something that he normally does to extend the plays. And it just showed that it was a mediocre offense. It actually really shows.
It really does.
Yes.
They throw to one guy. It is a very mediocre offense.
Because you know why he only throws to one guy? Because he don't trust the other guys.
That's right.
It's all about trust with him. If you drop a pass on him, I don't think he'll throw the ball to you again the rest of the game.
Yeah. Let's shift to Patrick Mahomes. Let's go back to his early career. First of all, he got drafted to a good team. He didn't go number one.
No.
We all love the Joe Burrows, and we all love the Cams that go number one. But you often go to a bad team.
Yes.
So Patrick slides down, and he goes to a good team and a good GM and a good coach. That helps. Secondly, he sat.
Yes.
How much value does that create?
It creates a lot of value because what it does for him, it takes a lot of pressure off of him, first of all. Now he gets a chance to actually learn the offense, learn the inside and out, learn it better than the back of his hand. And it gives him a chance to actually, once he gets to take the reins of the offense, he can start implementing things that he wants or he likes and what he don't like. And I think when you can get a quarterback that can come in at a young of an age and play the way he's played, you can tell there's things in the offense that he doesn't like, and there's things in the offense that he takes to exception or he does very well. Of course, he throws the deep ball very well.
Yeah.
So a lot of passes are 15, 20 yards down the field. You don't really have a lot of dink and dunk passes unless it's down to the running back. So it just shows you what he's capable of, and they trust him, and they trust his arm.
You know, it's really interesting you said that. I read a story this year about Adam Gase and Sam Darnold. And about halfway through the season, Jets got blown out.
Yeah, the quarterback whisperer.
Yeah. And Darnold went to Gase. I read a story and said, listen, we're doing about 15 things I don't like.
Yeah.
Here's what I like to do. And it would be like making me talk about sports I don't care about. I like football and basketball. Those are the sports I love. And to your point, when you get to sit for a year and practice, you can tell Andy can watch you, develop stuff for you, and you can communicate, I just don't do well here, and I do well there. So you played for a variety of quarterbacks. You played for a veteran quarterback, young quarterbacks, old quarterbacks.
Yes.
Even Mahomes has, you know what's funny about Mahomes, even he's got little weaknesses. Sometimes his arm is so gifted, he gets sloppy on short stuff.
Yes, he do.
He'll sidearm stuff, and you're like, oh, no, Patrick, guys, he's better on his 28-yard seam.
That I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the throw to Tyreek Hill in the end zone, the ball didn't even go over the DB helmet. It went right past his helmet. It's just little throws like that. It's just you can't teach.
You're asking a home run hitter to bunt. Sometimes he's not great in the short stuff. Okay, just your overall sense of the Super Bowl. The dominating run game for San Francisco. This is a classic chess match.
Yes.
And the D-line against the fireworks show. Gut feeling, who wins?
Kansas City by 7.
All right, good game?
Good game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be somewhere around 28-35 or 28-37, something. Somewhere around that. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I think a total average probably going to be over 60 points between these two teams. But I think San Fran can't go in here thinking they're going to run the ball. Tennessee tried that too.
Yeah, there's limitations. Kansas City's defensive front is better than people think.
Well, I think with the add of Terrell Suggs, it added a little more fire to it. Not only that, but you get 32 Tyrann Mathieu being able to play the way he wants to play. He's free. They just let him roam.
Yeah, and he's great at that. Antonio Cromartie, good seeing you, bud.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.